In this video, I'm going to show the difference between a compiled language like Java versus an interpreted language like Python. I'm going to have Java on the left and I'm going to have Python on the right. So just a quick overview. What does that really mean in plain English? And then we'll do an example quickly. Well, in plain English, all that means is that a compiled language like Java needs to have a process in the middle. Right before executing the code. What does that mean? That means that we get to write our source code, then we have to compile that source code, and that creates a new file that's in bytecode, and then the computer will run that bytecode, that file that we generated. It will run that as the executable. Versus Python, right? In Python, we have the source code is our executable file as well. So it's the same file. There's no process. So what does that mean? Let's take a look on the left here. We'll just create a quick file for a main class. We'll call it main.java. And by the way, I'm doing this in the terminal just to show for simplicity, but I recommend, of course, an IDE for Java specifically or specially, and in Python as well, but even more so for Java. But just for simplicity, I'm going to do this really quickly on the command line. So touch will create a new file. We can see that it's there. And I'll remove everything here in this directory so that we don't have to worry about that. And we'll have the main.java file. So if we go into it, I'm going to use Vim again. I don't recommend starter programmers to start with Vim necessarily, especially not in Java, but here it goes. So we're going to have a class called main, open and close the parentheses, and here we're going to have a public static void main. This is the main entry point to the program. In Java, we're going to have a string array as arguments, a parameter being passed in. And then here, all we're going to do is system.out.println. This is a Java program. And all we're going to do here is just close it. And it's there. If we wanted to see it, of course, it's going to be here. That's main.java. And let's go ahead and compile that really quickly. That's going to be Java C. To compile it, main.java, hit enter. That is going to create a class file. And now we can say Java main, right? And that's going to say this is a Java program. So all that to show that we had a process that took this Java file and it created a class file, and this is called in bytecode. This is what's going to run when we execute this program, right? That's what compiled means. Now, if we go to the left and we create a Python file, let's call it main.py, and we'll go into that main.py. I could also just launched it, and after I save it, it would have just loaded up too. So just doing the same steps as I did on my left side with Java, so just bear with me. And here we're just going to use print. Well, I'm not sure why it always does that, but we'll just say print. This is a Python program. We'll save it, we'll exit. We'll see that it is also here. That was my py file here. And I'll say Python, go ahead and run this main.py file. And we can see that this is a Python program gets executed. So just to show you that for Python, again, we don't need an extra file, right? Our source code is our executable code. For Java, the source code becomes another file, right, in bytecode, and that is the file that gets executed. So it's optimized, it gets generated for us, and that's what we mean by compiled versus interpreted.